Hey everyone, my name's Walter and we're back here on the 19th anniversary of 9/11. Never forget to talk about relationship problems that were posted to Reddit. Reddit Relationships is the place to leave all of your problems about relationships. They don't have to be romantic relationships. This is also the place to talk about your family members or friends, as long as there's problems. Now, with coronavirus going on, there's even more relationship problems than normal, and more people sitting on their computers, so it's been a pretty active subreddit. Anyway, I don't like to spend a lot of time on intros, so let's just begin with relationship problems from Reddit Relationships. Now this one happened many years ago, and I can't find the original, but it is the reason I decided to cover this subject today, and probably also the reason I'll have trouble monetizing this video. My wife thinks I'm gay? Huge misunderstanding. While posting on an adult message board for erotic film enthusiasts, I brought up how turned on I used to be as a kid about the prospect of seeing naked women in Playboys and films like Porky's, and how watching porn today can be a joyless, almost numbing experience. We all agreed that the most fun we ever had watching porn was during sleepovers at friends. One of our friends would bring out the tape and we'd see the hot chick on the box cover covering herself with a pillow, and I'd have to stamp my feet as fast as I could on the carpet and chew on my t-shirt to keep from screaming for joy. The first time the woman would get naked, we all couldn't believe it, and we'd pause the movie and we'd have to cover our boners with our pillows and then go use the bathroom so we could jerk off. Looking back on those sleepovers, I don't think I've ever been happier in my entire life, and it has been impossible to recapture that sense of naive joy and erotic wonder. Even my first time having sex with a woman was a letdown by comparison. We all agreed this was true, and I came up with the idea of holding sleepovers and pretending we're 11 years old again. And several posters who lived in my area agreed this was a great idea. A few dozen posts later, we were able to work out some ground rules. One big rule is that we all had to be at least 18 years old. Most of us are 35 and older. Each member has to try to hold at least one gathering every 3 months. There are 12 of us, and we have to stay in character at all times so as not to break the spell. Kind of like live-action role-playing. The host of the party has to provide the material, usually old Playhouse tapes, Penthouse magazines, and hardcore porn. Must be from 1992 or before, preferably 80s golden age porn. We all have to wear pajamas and bring chips and pop. We tend to play old Nintendo games for an hour till the host's parents go to bed. Then the host goes, "Look what I got, guys," then takes out the porn and we all jump around and high-five, and then wait with giddy expectation. During the movie, we turn to each other and grin and talk about how horny we are and comment on the action. Like if a woman with huge breasts disrobes for a shower, we have to pause the movie and go, "Whoa, I'd like to suck on those. Imagine if you touched her boobs with your penis. I heard that girls will put their mouth on your penis and lick it, etc." There used to be a no masturbation rule, but that was quickly nixed. The whole purpose of the gatherings is to feed off each other's erotic energy. The pent-up energy is too much to resist. We tend to whip down our pajamas at the same time and masturbate. We try to keep a silly, naive quality though, and jokingly point at each other's members and try to shout out different things about their penis. "That sure beats Super Mario Brothers" is my ejaculation catchphrase. Gotta say, the ejaculation catchphrase is the best part of the whole thing. I'm writing this in my script right now, but I have no idea how I'm going to say that without laughing. Since starting these gatherings, I have never felt more alive, and my sex life with my wife couldn't be better. That is until one gathering, where she caught an early flight home for the purpose of surprising me and ended up walking in on a dozen men masturbating in her living room. I will never forget the shocked look on her face, and she immediately left and stayed at her sister's house. I managed to talk to her and explain what she witnessed, but she isn't really buying my story. She keeps going on about how I am having gay sex orgies behind her back. We never touch each other, and that I am living a lie. She has even started to indicate that she wants a divorce. Is there any way I can get her to understand what I have been doing? I love my wife, and ironically have never been more attracted to her than I am now. I realize I have been somewhat childish, and now realize that I have a gorgeous, voluptuous woman that my 11-year-old self would have sold his Super Nintendo and bike just to be able to touch her naked breasts, and I could lose her. Please help me get her back. Good lord. I mean, I believe the guy isn't gay or anything, but I really don't think it matters. He is having a bunch of people over to his house for the sake of sexual gratification, and it's very likely his wife isn't okay with it, even if they're not touching. I also don't think I went to any sleepovers like this as a kid. I mean, maybe we got Cinemax to come in all fuzzy in the middle of the night a time or two, but I don't think anyone was running to the bathroom to jerk off. We had some Smash Bros to play. Anyway, let's find another story. Right, this next one comes to us from Reddit Am I the Asshole, the place to ask Reddit if you were wrong in any given situation. I forgot to mention, we might be using these too. Am I the asshole for making my girlfriend pay for a new prosthesis? I, male 24, had an auto accident over 2 years ago that resulted in a left leg knee amputation. I thought that would have been the end of my active lifestyle. I loved all kinds of sports as a kid and I still do. I had a very hard time adjusting to my new normal. My parents were able to get me a prosthetic leg that allowed me to get back to running and going on trips with my friends like we always do every summer. The guys were planning an RV trip on the weekend. We had already chosen a destination, which was spending some time out in nature and get away from stress. My girlfriend asked if she could come along. I told her no, this is a guy's trip. Told all my buddies' girlfriends wanted to go, but they were firm and put their foot down. She laughed at me for this, then tried to convince me to let her come because she was feeling stressed out from being at home 24 hours. I already made up my mind. I wasn't going to ruin the trip just because she wants to be on a guy's trip. I promised her a trip when I get back. She got upset and didn't like the idea. Later on, before I went to sleep, I took my prosthesis off as I do every night. This is my second prosthesis. I've already completed a wearing schedule during first year and had to get another prosthesis to accommodate any physical changes I had. I woke up in the morning and I couldn't find my prosthesis. I looked where I put it, but it was gone. I asked my girlfriend who was doing heavy cleaning around the place, and she said she didn't see it. I was confused. It was near my bed. I asked her to stop being childish and playing games and give me back my prosthesis because I knew she took it. She's a bad liar and couldn't even deny it. She said she wanted to hide it so that I won't go on that trip and leave her alone. I got mad at her for this. I was stunned to find my prosthesis hidden beneath an auto part in the garage. It had been damaged. It was placed in a position where it had a crack. It was obvious it no longer functions properly. I mean, I could still wear it, but I can't put my whole weight on it because it would break. I yelled at her and showed her what she did. She said she didn't mean it. I told her she did mean it because she was being childish and jealous over a trip, and now she caused me $7,000 worth of damage. I told her she ruined everything and that she owed me for a new one and that she needed to pay for a new one. She got mad and left. I basically had to use my old crutches. It felt absolutely horrible. I called the guys and told them I wasn't coming. It's been a few days. She's mad that I'm still asking her to pay for a new prosthesis and called me an asshole for not apologizing and preferring a plastic leg over her. I had to call my parents today to tell them. They told me she should at least help pay half the expense of a new prosthesis since she caused damage to it, and then consider my relationship with her. Have I been an asshole to her? Edit, for those asking about where I am, I'm in Asia, from the Philippines. This one is so cut and dry that it's painful. What does she mean a plastic leg? He doesn't have a leg made out of flesh, so this is essentially his real leg. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she didn't break it on purpose. If she did, this is much worse, but even so, she broke his expensive piece of medical equipment that he needs to walk by acting like a child. And then expects to not only not pay anything for it, but for him to apologize, presumably for yelling at her. I think the breakup is necessary. There's no difference at all between this and destroying someone's wheelchair so they can't leave. It's really fucked up. God, I give this video the wrong title. None of these stories are actually from Reddit relationships. Am I the asshole for moving out mid-lease and stranding my roommate with full rent after his girlfriend keeps accusing me of being creepy? So I've been living with my current roommate for 2 years now. I'm actually subletting and I'm on my second year, which is month to month, but we've had an official verbal agreement that I'd stay until the end of the year. I mean, it's a pandemic. I didn't think I'd move either. Anyways, his girlfriend moved in beginning of this year. It's been a lot. She's obviously had some trauma in the past. I didn't dig, but I believe she was the victim of a home robbery a few years back. Well, when she first moved in, my roommate had some ground rules for me so his girlfriend would be more comfortable. She obviously wasn't thrilled about having another roommate. He said I couldn't talk to her, like strike up a convo if he wasn't there because she doesn't want to have to talk to me if she didn't have to. He also said it would be best if we tried not to use the same facilities at the same time. Like if she's cooking in the kitchen, I should wait until she leaves before I grab food, etc. Like yes, it's strange, but I figured it's his place, so whatever. I'm not trying to befriend her either. Things got worse in recent months because we've all been working from home. It's really hard to avoid someone 24/7, so obviously I've slipped up more. One time I came home from Costco and offered her a spare bottle of coconut water I couldn't fit in the fridge. Big mistake. My roommate had to have a talk with me that night about how I should know she would never drink my drinks and it's weird for me to even offer. The most recent one was when she was watching some Game of Thrones in our living room. I just absent-mindedly watched a bit standing behind the couch. I laughed at a scene which startled her when she looked up and saw me standing behind her. I got another earful from my roommate about how I needed to stop creeping on her now that I'm home all the time. Long story short, my friend just had a place open up that's cheap and I'm gonna move. I told my roommate and he's pissed because of our unofficial agreement and how he's probably gonna pay full rent for a while. I feel bad because yeah, I did say I wasn't gonna move, but I'm also pretty sick of both him and his girlfriend. However, I feel kind of guilty because I agreed to their weird rules before all this started back when I thought it'd be okay. I'm definitely going to say he's not the asshole because I would unquestionably do the same thing. She's obviously the one being really weird, and I wouldn't be able to live in a situation where I get scolded like a child for talking to someone. And being called creepy in your own home for behaving normally is the kind of thing you shouldn't have to put up with if you're paying rent. Anyway, this is a bit shorter than usual, but that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you have an opinion on any of these stories, you should let me know how you feel about them. It's hard not to have an opinion on some of these. They're straight up infuriating sometimes. If you're new here and want more content like this, consider subscribing to see my new videos more easily. I'm hoping to be working harder this month, so there should be more. I'm kind of cutting this one short because I want to get started on a combined nice guy and neckbeard posts only video. I haven't done one of those in a while. Be sure to let me know if you enjoyed this video though. The first story was the one I wanted to cover really. Also, shout out to my generous patrons. There's no obligation, but if you want to keep me not censoring myself, that is a way to help out. So thanks a lot to all these people. Have a great day, everyone, and I hope watching my videos sure beats Super Mario Bros.